All right, good afternoon, YouTube. What we have today here is a L83 5.3 liter come out of a 2016 Suburban with about 200,000 miles on it. Picked it up a few weeks ago off of a marketplace for a really good price. I figured it'd be a good opportunity to learn, kind of doing the DOD delete and camming it and stuff like that, what goes into it. I've worked on cars and stuff my entire life, but never physically built a motor. So for the price, I couldn't pass it up. And if all goes well, I'll actually swap this out with the motor in my wife's Tahoe, same motor, platform and everything. I wanted to do kind of a tutorial on disassembly. I've already broke it open. I just kind of want to get a look at it, see if this would be a good build candidate. And in the middle of doing that, I just thought, well, maybe somebody would need an in-depth version of kind of how to disassemble, what tools required and stuff like that. There's a million videos on YouTube. I actually, learned quite a bit off of YouTube. So I'm not an expert by any means, but I do feel like I know what I'm talking about. So anyway, we'll get right into it. First off, kind of wanted to show you the difference in lifter, in case you didn't know. So here's your normal style lifter, non-DOD AFM. That's actually what you're going to put back in there once you delete it. Here's a non-collapsed DOD lifter. That's what it should look like. Here's a collapsed one. This is what the issue is with these vehicles. Is this is what a collapsed one looks like. So when it collapses, you start hearing a tick and knock, and it starts beating the crap out of the camshaft. I actually just fixed this on my wife's Tahoe. Her cylinder 7 dropped. I got very fortunate when it dropped or collapsed. I shut it off immediately, parked it till I could find time to diagnose it, and got lucky. The cam was in really good shape, no scars, nothing crazy. This one, unfortunately, the cam's no good in it. Once we get this broke open, I'll show you kind of what the cam looks like scarred up. The lifter itself, it didn't look too bad. The roller, so I don't know how long the guy run the motor when it collapsed, but obviously the cam on this thing is toast. So, but I wanted to give you kind of a look at that. You can see the difference in all three of them. All right, so we'll just kind of jump right into it. Here, come here. Don't ever lose that guy. All right, so your cool pack bolts, they're 10 millimeter. Like I said, I've already broke this motor open, so this will go fairly quick, but anyway. Set that to the side. All right, valve cover, same, 10 millimeter bolts. I just got these just held in here. Put those guys there. Actually, let's make that. All right, rocker arm. Get in there. It's gonna be an 8 mil. Get on there. So another way to know it's collapsed, there'll be tension on all of them. Whatever cylinders collapse, it'll kind of have some movement in the rocker arm itself like that. That's how you know that lifter has collapsed. All right, so like I said, 8 mil. All right. Next, we'll go to head removal. I believe these are 5/8. I got remember, let me get my stuff out right here. One. I believe they were 5/8. Yep, well, that's got some play in it. Let's try 15. Yeah, 15 is the key right there. All right, so we'll actually go ahead and take those off. You don't want to use an impact when you break these things off. Always use a breaker bar, extension, whatever, and back them out slowly. If you try to use it, I mean, you can use an impact, probably won't hurt it none, but I always rather be safe than sorry. Like I said, I've already broke this open, so. Get on there. These are torque to yield bolts, so you'll need new ones. Most kits you buy come with head bolts, or you can go back with ARP because you can reuse those, and they're pretty stout. So the one I wanted to get to and show you, because this one is the one bolt and all of this that is different. All right. So this is a 13 mil hex impact from Gear Ranch. I don't know if you can buy these singular or you just have to buy the whole thing. Either way, it's still a good buy. But I don't know how well you can see that. I'll pull it out here in a second. But that's the one bolt that's different from all these. So you just, like I said, I've already done that. My garage is an absolute disaster right now. All right. And I believe my magnet is all the way on the other side of the shop. Yep. All right, so we're gonna grab that guy. Oops. That guy. And that guy. So here's that bolt. It's one bolt that's different. I believe the new kit comes with a new one of these, or I think the ARP, they just replaced it altogether. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, that bad boy right there causes you to buy something else you don't need for a while. All right. So now the head should be ready to be removed. Make sure I get all my bolts out. Another thing, because the fuel rail goes into the head, you can pull the head with the fuel rail still connected to it if you don't plan on changing the injectors out. If you do plan on changing the injectors out, I highly recommend leaving it on the block, you know, so you have something to kind of pull up on. I'll show you what I've done. So the other side come out fine, no problems at all. Pulled right out. This side though, however, yeah, that was fun. And you can still see those injectors are still in there, so those are going to be fun to get out. I've never seen one seized up like this as far as the injectors go. So that was fun. Our head comes right off. Oop, we got stuff in there. I should have been a little bit better prepared. You know, always be careful with it. Yeah, so you can see there's a little dirt right there, but didn't look too bad. Like I said, I've already cleaned this up some, so it doesn't look awful. And here's just an old gasket I had laying around. This is not the one that was on there, but I had anyway. All right. So here's where your lifter sit. Just like I said, I've been cleaning it, so I'm just kind of, and it gets a little cold at night in this garage, so I try to keep it sealed up a little bit as much as I can. So most of the time your lifters, they'll pull out with the trays, but if they don't, you can take a magnet and just, you know, they'll pull out with that magnet. Next thing, your Vlom, good old Vlom. I believe these are 13 mil. Yeah. And you just, this is where the computer sits for the DoD AFM, right under the intake manifold. And then your fuel pump sits back here. Be very gentle with that. I believe it's a 13 also. Yeah. I got it sitting over there. I went ahead and pulled it. But yeah, those are not very cheap to replace, so I would be careful dealing with that. Forgot I had that one actually in there. Sit you right there. All right. Oh, there we go. So there's that. And then there's the computer on that. Let me try to loot. So that's what your computer looks like for that. That controls your DoD AFM. When you get a new valley cover, it doesn't have any of that, so let's and you won't need to reuse this. It's garbage. Here's your fuel pump. Messing with that, be very gentle with it. It is not cheap to replace. Here we go, fuel lines. Always just take an adjustable, break those open. They say you need to replace these every time you mess with them. I never had any problem reusing them, but that's just me. All right, so here's kind of what it looks like. Let me pull these out. It's still nasty in there. Set those right there. All right. Where'd that 24 go? Where you at? There you are. So I turn this thing. So that bolt's 24 mil. I've already got it. Obviously the harmonic mallet was already off of it and everything. I wanted to kind of show you. You can kind of see where it's a little scarred up. Stay on there. Yeah. Piss on you. Yeah, there's actually some markings on it. Can't get that to stay on there. But yeah, I need to clean it out a little bit more. Anyway. Alright, and here's your VVT cover. I do plan on retaining that. What were these? That's a 15. Where'd my 13 go? Still on impact, I think. Where'd you go, George? Right there. Alright. So yeah, I mean, so I'm not going to take this all the way apart because I don't really feel like, I haven't got the oil pump alignment tool. I don't want to take all that apart yet without having that. because that oil pump, if you don't get it on there just right, it can be kind of, I've read it can be catastrophic. So, but your bolts for your timing cover that controls the VVT, they're 13 mil. All right, so now we're gonna flip the motor over. Do the oil pan. Come on. I know you want to come out. There you go. So, sit you down right there. Bam. So there's your oil pan. Where your oil filter goes. I believe that's a coolant line. There's your vacuum pump, which I'm actually going to delete. Yeah. So I believe these are 13s also. Most of these bolts are kind of this. Yeah. Extension for that one. There are two different bolts on the back. Well, they're the same bolt, but they're 10 mil. I believe they're like alignment bolts. I can't remember. There's all that. And then these two bolts right there. I believe they're alignment bolts, but you know, somebody that knows better than me probably knows. That's just what they look like to me. And they're pretty long bolts. And then you just pick this bad boy out. Come on. I believe I messed up. Is there another bolt holding this bad boy on? Yeah, right there, dummy. Dummy. Everybody knows stuff happens. Come on. There she is. There's the inner. Not too bad. Still got some oil in there. Yeah, just kind of clean it up a little bit. It don't look too bad though. Not for 200,000 miles anyway. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the disassembly, or a shorter version of it anyway. A lot easier when the motor is out of the vehicle, but anyway, just kind of want to give a rundown, tools required, sizes and stuff like that. any questions or anything, just comment. I'll try to answer them the best I can. If not, I'm sure there's another YouTube video out there for it. So appreciate the views, and when I get some more tools in to take the oil pump off and all that, we'll make another video of camming it and then putting it back together. Appreciate it, guys.